Hello. So good to be here. I'm a little bit delayed, but this is the official congratulations to everyone who has been with me this week for the Oracle Card Reading Challenge. It's been an amazing week that we have shared together. If you've missed any of the sessions, or if you haven't signed up for it, you can still, it's all the sessions are going to be available until midnight tonight PST, so you can definitely still access them. So if you haven't, you can head over to rebeccacampbell.me/challenge. Sorry to people on Instagram. I know I just went live on YouTube. I just went live on Instagram and it didn't go live on YouTube. So apologies for that, but I am here now and I'm on Facebook too. So hello. So good to be here with you. So thank you everyone who's been part of the challenge. The challenge has been so amazing. I've been blown away really inspired actually by how many people showed up, how many people like really stayed in it with the readings, and just how being held in a process, like doing a reading sheet. I gave 2 reading sheets for the first 2 sessions, and then the third session was I shared my number 1 tip for doing a reading. We go through each of the psychic senses and are really held in a process which really will stop you going blank in a reading, because you've got this kind of framework to hold you in as well. But yeah, in the first 2 parts of the challenge, I shared these really strong reading sheets that I share all through my certified training that's now open for enrollment as well, my card reader training. And it was so amazing seeing so many of you share your experience and I so relate with it. I was so into Oracle cards. Like, I started really, really young, but I never felt confident to like, do a reading beyond, like, I might do like a 6 months spread, like the Celtic Cross spread, or something like that. But really, I'd just be pulling like a card a day, or might do a couple of spreads, but really, like, I wasn't staying in the reading. And then when it came to reading for other people, at first I was like, I just didn't feel confident. And it was because I didn't have a framework to hold me in it. And I think I'm so passionate about this when it comes to intuition, creativity as well, for that matter. It's not the cards that are magic, it's us. But we need to know the framework and be held in a framework in order to dive in and trust our intuition. And I think this is the thing that stopped me for so many years doing readings with people, because I thought like everyone was just like, they just got a whole lot of information and I wasn't as intuitive as them. But then when I started learning really solid processes to structure my readings, I remember one of my trainings that I did with the Akashic Records, my teacher gave me this amazing reading sheet, which really allowed me to, I was looking at like past lives, planets of origin, life lessons, like all of this stuff. We would had this like big chart where we would track, and we'd work with pendulums, we'd work with our intuition to gather information. And I think this is so important when we are working with the unseen world of spirit. So many people think it's just like, you just tune in, but actually, and the same thing applies with creativity too. The more focused you can be, the more of a structure you can hold yourself in, the deeper you can dive, and the higher you can reach, and the more connected you can be. And so, yeah, when I got the call to create my certified Oracle card reader training that is now open for enrollment, and it's 25% off until tomorrow, midnight tonight. And so if you do want to join the training, you can head to rebeccacampbell.me/oracle and receive 25% off that training. But yeah, with that training, I really knew that I wanted to create this structure for us to follow so that we can really feel grounded in our intuition and realize that we are the oracle. It's not the cards that are magic. The cards can be portals for us to connect in with our intuition, to connect in with our guides. And each of the decks have their own lexicon, like the and energies that we're working with. Like the Work Your Light Oracle, for example, works with the Council of Light, which is a group of guides that I connected with. I wrote my first book, Light is the New Black, with that as well. The Healing Waters connects in with the essence of life that is within all conscious living beings. Where there's water, there's life. Where there's life, there's water. Rose Oracle works with the ancient goddess, the ancient sacred feminine as well. And so you can see that like there's unlimited guidance that we can receive and energy that we can tap into when we're working with oracle cards and of course our guides. But the more focused we can be, the more confident we become, the wider we can open the door. And so that's why it's been so amazing seeing so many of you working with those reading sheets that I sent. For session 1 and session 2, we did the Well of Wisdom spread. I've loved seeing so many of your pictures as well. And I know some of you have been doing the training, the challenge with your loved ones and doing readings on each other. It's my challenge to you. It was my challenge in our final session to go and do a reading for someone else. Go through that process that I shared, where I shared your how to tap into each of your psychic senses when you're in a reading, which really is my number one secret to not going blank. You know, when you're connecting in with your clairvoyance, connecting in with your clairaudience, connecting in with your claircognizance, which is your clear knowing, connecting in with your clairsentience. You know, it's so many see intuition and the unseen world of spirit as this vague kind of thing, this gift that only some have. And yeah, some people are born more open. Some people don't get that separation come in, that disconnection come in. But ultimately, we're all intuitive, and it's our body that is intuitive. It's through our body's senses that we receive our intuition. And so yeah, I really, really want to encourage you, if you've taken part of the challenge, just keep showing up, keep staying in the process of doing a reading, and trust that you are the oracle. The cards aren't the magic, it's you. And the more you learn about the foundations of card reading, the more you connect in with the energy of a particular deck, you connect in with each of the individual cards and form a relationship with them. And the more you follow like a really simple process to open the gateways to your intuition, to your psychic senses, the more you will receive when you do your reading, and the more confident you will become as well. And you know, some of you may know that my certified oracle card reading training is actually open for enrollment now. It's open until midnight tonight, and you receive 25% off, which is $100 off. The training's $299 US. I wanted to make it as affordable as I could. And I'm so proud of this training. It's been amazing seeing so many of you printing off your workbooks and binding it and sharing your pictures on social media. I've just loved it so much. And I'm happy to answer any questions about the training that you've got. I've got a couple of questions that have already come in, and a couple of people asked questions before when I was live on Instagram too. So feel free to share any of your questions here if you've got them, and even just any of your questions around oracle card reading in general. I know one of the questions that I received around oracle card readings was, when you're reading for someone else, who pulls the cards? And so let me share the ideal situation. In an ideal situation, if they're physically with you, you'll invite the person that you're reading for, whether it's your friend or whoever it is, to shuffle the cards and hold their question in their mind or in their heart. So they'll be shuffling the cards, and until they feel like it's complete. Then you can get them to split the cards if you like. I do this. A lot of people do this. It's not imperative, but I get them to split it into 3 piles and then gather them back together in whatever order, and spread them out. And then based on the spread that you've decided that you're going to do with them, based on your time frame and their request for guidance, then get them to select that amount of cards, obviously keeping them in order, and then hand them to you. So that's how you do it if they're physically present. If they're not physically present, what you can do is say they're on the other line of a phone, or even on a Zoom, like a video like this, you can be shuffling and ask them to hold their question in their mind or their heart. And you're doing that too. Maybe you're saying a prayer to your guides, and then you're telling them, just let me know when it feels right for me to stop shuffling. And they'd say stop. And so you'd stop. And then if you like, you can split them into 3 piles, put them back together. They can even decide which order if they can see you. Not imperative. And then spread them out. And same thing, you could just place your hands slowly, and you'd spread them wide for this if you're doing it, and place your hands over the cards, and then get them to say stop however many times, and then you're selecting that card that your hand is over. The other way to do it is you hold, get them to feel into their question if they're remote, and then you can just allow yourself to do it by proxy. So just trusting yourself. So let me see if there's any other questions here. I feel like I may be better off without cards, and the cards may be confusing my natural intuition. It's a different kind of process. Yeah, I mean, see, everyone's got their unique way of doing things. I think with oracle cards, I love them because they're so physical. But I think that what we need to do when we're I think the thing that we need to overcome if we're genuinely called to work with oracle cards is you got to understand the deck lexicon, which is the language of the cards, and form a relationship with each of the cards. I find that it's best to have a deck that you're using as your primary deck. And obviously you can develop relationships with other decks over and over again and have multiple decks, which I have as well. But when you're learning the foundations, I think it's really helpful to hone in on a deck. And that's why in my training, what you do is when you enroll, you get to select a particular deck that you want to work with while you're doing the training to receive the certification in. You do get the opportunity to upgrade to multiple decks, which you can do, but I always recommend starting with one. So yeah. And interestingly, out of all my decks, and because you make that selection after at the end of enrollment, and the deck that most people have been choosing is Work Your Light, which is so cool because this was my first deck. I think the Healing Waters is the second, and then it goes, the third popular is Rose, and then Starseed. So that's been really cool to see. How can we get that reading sheet? It sounds great. Yeah, so you head over to RebeccaCampbell.me/challenge. I will also pop in the chat here where to get the info for the challenge. You can just go direct here. So I'm just going to pop it in the chat on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, just follow the link around the video. We'll make sure that's there. Okay, so yes, the certified training is only open for enrollment until Sunday, which is tonight. It's midnight PST technically, and you will receive 25% off if you enroll then, which is $100 off. So it's definitely worth it. Hi from Japan. I have all your oracle decks. I'm a big fan. Yay. Thank you so much. Crystal clear. I love your oracle decks. They're so beautiful and connect me with what I feel is so delicately feminine and strong. Oh, thank you. cool. So if anyone has any other questions about the training or even the just card readings in general, that's cool. Eric says, I'm an Inner Temple Mystery School alumni and I purchased the Rose certification training today. How do you envision these trainings working together? I think I've got yeah, awesome. So Eric, great question. Well, you choosing Rose, I'm not surprised because you're so deeply connected to the sacred feminine energy and the energy of the rose, which is obviously, just grab the deck here. So this is the Rose Oracle. The rose is an ancient symbol of the goddess, and so this is a very feminine healing deck. It's a beautiful, beautiful deck. And as you know, Eric, my Inner Temple Mystery School training, we work with various different mystery modules, which are essentially guides. And the guide for Rose is goddess. It's a sacred feminine. And so, yeah, this training will be amazing for you, Eric, because you're just going to be deepening and deepening and deepening your connection even more with the rose. So many of the oracle decks that I've created are filled with activations and transmissions from my mystical experiences and from working with these particular guides. Each deck has a different guide. And so, oh my gosh, like, oh, I have to share actually, and I meant to share it this week, but I haven't. But when I was recording the training for where I basically, for every different certification that I do, and because you select a deck when you enroll, I go through every single card individually and I share an activation and transmission and meditation for every single card. So you have this direct energetic experience of the origin of the card. So like that's like this depth that you've got that you just can't get any other way, as well as learning all of the oracle card reading foundations, reading for yourself, reading for others, reading professionally, developing your reading kit, how to not go blank in a reading, holding space for others professionally, all of that stuff. But when I was recording the meditation and transmission for the Healing the Motherline card of the Rose Oracle, I kid you not, my books fell over and it knocked over a rose, which fell onto a candle. It went up in flames and then knocked over. I had two of these little vases here, one of which was my grandmother's, and one of them fell and was shattered, literally, as I said, and I set all the mothers free through my maternal line, from mother to grandmother to grandmother to grandmother. And it literally, yeah. So that's just one of the cards. So Eric, it's going to be really good for you. You're going to absolutely love it. So yes, let me know if anyone's got any other questions about the training. Sandra, you inspire me so much. Oh, thank you for sharing my personal readings and spiritual practice worksheets that I've already have for myself. That's amazing. Well done. Love those reading sheets. Michelle loves the water oracle. Amazing. We all have our one. Sometimes I find that I'm distracted or scattered energetically for the lack of better expression when I pick up from spirit. I should work with the cards. Any recommendations? Is that clear? Yeah. So I think that my mentor said it's like, if you just ask a broad question, you're going to get a broad answer. So the more focused you can be with spirit, and to be honest, I think I believe intuition and creativity come from the same place. So this goes for spirit as well as creativity. The more focused you can be, and I think having a structure to follow, which is what I have in the training, and it's what I've always done with my intuition as well. the more focused you can be and like methodically move through. It's like having pillars for a temple. Without those pillars, it's everything's just out in the open. Whereas if you have you have a process that you're following, it's going to feel less vague because it's like a checklist that you're doing. And so, because I find so often what happens in readings, and I've seen this with the challenge actually, so many people have said, I love oracle cards and I feel like I'm connected to my intuition, but I don't always trust it. And it feels like I don't really know what to do when it comes to a reading, like whether it's from someone else or myself. And I like pull a card and I kind of get information, but I don't know if it's my head. I don't know if it's just what I think. Like I don't really know. And then I don't know what to do. And so then I just stop. And I think this is the biggest thing I've seen in the challenge, because we've been going through the process of the reading sheet process. People are staying in it. And even with the third session that I shared today of how to go through each of your psychic senses to continually receive information from your intuition. It's amazing how many people have received so much more information than they would have normally because they've just stayed in the process. Like they've stayed in the card reading process rather than just kind of picking a card and being like, oh, maybe I get it, reading the guidebook, which I recommend doing all those things. But most people don't stay in the card reading. They kind of jump out of it and then move on and maybe pick another card rather than going in and being like, okay, what information actually is here for me? Do you remember how long it took you to create each deck? I'd love to hear more backstory. Interesting. So I think that how I normally work is I'll know what the overall title is. I'll do a mood board for it, and I know the guide I'm working with, and then I channel all of the card names and do like sometimes a mood board for each card, but in most cases I do that. And then I'll work with an illustrator. I've had two wonderful illustrators that I work with, and I've worked with, to create each of the cards. In most cases, I've written the words first, and then the images have come off that. Sometimes, like this image here, this is from the Fall Into My Arms card in the Starseed Oracle. This is based on the most life-changing moment of my life, which was a spontaneous mystical experience. Happened in 2017. It's literally how I open my upcoming book that I'm still working on the edit. It's called Your Soul Had a Dream, Your Life Is It. It's out in September. But it's the most life-changing moment of my life. And so I knew what that card was because I'd experienced the life-changing energetic transmission of it. And I've been integrating it ever since. And part of creating the Oracle decks have been kind of stabilizing that energy and anchoring that energy in. And so that's why I'm so excited with this training, because as you enroll, you select which deck you want to be certified in, and you'll receive this like special module where you literally receive the energetic transmission of each card in that deck. I've never shared that before. So it's really deep. And so if you can imagine, like if you've received that for every single card, like you're going to receive so much more information when you're doing a reading for someone, because it's like any relationship, if the deeper the connection, the more deeply you connect in a reading. Do the training share common modules in case we want to get more courses in the future, or are they completely different? So there's one module that they share, which is the foundations. And then, the others are unique. And then, and for the certification part of it, you need to do X amount of readings for yourself and X amount of readings for someone else as well. So, I think it's there's like about 6 to 7 spreads in each training. So you'd be doing that for yourself and then for someone else as well, and filling out the reading sheets. The reading sheets are amazing, and then you'll have them for life. It's also like quite experiential in how you connect in with each of the cards, and you'll have this really amazing catalog of each of the particular cards of the oracle that you choose, and so you can keep adding to that. And then, of course, with the reading sheets, it's downloadable separate document as well, so you can just like print them out. And if you do a client session with someone, you can even like give them the reading sheet, and so together you fill it out, or they fill it out as a way of documenting the reading. You could even like take a photo, and so you've got one on file as well. So it's kind of up to you how you want to use it. Awesome. What would you say about having the experience I expressed before sitting down to do a reading? I think you're talking about being the lack of a bit scattered energetically. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to have a set. Again, I'm all about grounding and structure so that you can go for it and have the really, really strong connection. So in the training, I have we go through a whole process. I show you my process of setting the room up energetically, connecting in with spirit, being very clear about who and what you're connecting to, because you don't want to just like open it all up to absolutely anything in the unseen world. It's not a safe way to practice at all. And so you're identifying and establishing connection very potently with the unseen world of spirit that you are working with. There's like an opening sacred space statement, opening prayer that we say, and and then you begin the reading. So you're really setting up an energetic container. This is just if you're doing it for yourself, but then if you're doing it for someone else, there's like basically 2 containers that you're setting up in my process, and then closing as well. I also take you through, as well as taking you through that process, I take you through a process to check in at the end and be like, does this process work for me? How do I want to make it my own now? So, you write your own opening prayer and closing prayer, for example. You create your own reading kit and altar that you're working with if you're working at home or if you're doing reading somewhere else. So yeah, you definitely want to get, and there's also quite a few tools that I use and teach around like getting grounded, like setting down your grounding cord, and various different ones. So you're not feeling scattered, you're feeling really connected and rooted, and how to hold space effectively for other people as well. So yeah. Do the just see if there's any more. Do you need to do a test reading before getting certification, or is a certification just being handed out even if you didn't really? No. So you have to do, you can't just like buy the training and get a certification. So there's 2 parts to the getting the certification. First of all, you need to watch all the videos, download the workbook, and we can tell if you've watched the videos and mark each video as complete. So that's one prerequisite. The next prerequisite is you download your reading sheets, and you need to do a reading for yourself for every single one of the readings. It's under 10 readings, and then as in different spreads. I mean, under 10 different spreads. So readings for yourself, and then readings for another person. And so you fill out the reading sheet, and then you ask them to write some feedback, and then you send them into the team as well. So yeah, you definitely need to, you can't just like, it's not like a certificate of completion, but you don't have to say do like a live test or anything. I don't want anyone to feel like stressed out about it, but yeah, receiving feedback, and we can tell if you've gone through the process or not. So that's that. I love the Starseed Oracle deck and Letters to a Starseed. Congrats on the new training. Thank you, darling. Okay. Yeah, so the training is $100 off, 25% off until midnight tonight PST. So join me for the training if you want. We won't repeat this price, but it's been interesting actually. We decided to make it possible because people started saying, "Oh, I want to do multiple trainings, like certifications for the multiple decks," and so we ended up doing just a special just for until Sunday, where once you select your deck, you can then upgrade to all of the deck certifications just for an extra $300, which is, we definitely won't repeat that again. And it's been amazing. Like I think it's 40% of people have opted for the multiple deck upgrade option. So yeah, that is an option. If you can't choose which one to do, you can choose them all. Okay, so someone's asking, is ancient stones part of the certification? So we will be doing a certification for ancient stones, but it's not available yet because the deck's not available yet. So yeah, the Ancient Stones Oracle is out in June. It's available for pre-order if you want to pre-order it, but yeah, you'll be able to find that later on. And let me just see if there's any other questions. What else can I expect in my spiritual transformation from this training besides becoming a better card reader? Enhanced psychic senses, becoming more intuitive, better connection with my guides, etc. Yeah, absolutely. So like there's the foundational module to start with, as well as it being foundations of oracle card reading. It's also like enhancing your psychic senses. So there's like third eye activations. There's uh like activation prayers. There's literally for each of the psychic senses we do psychic development training and it's for every single one of the senses as well, from like chakra clearing to like I said, the third eye activation to energy reset, all of that kind of stuff. And then we also teach on like holding space effectively for a client. So and that's beyond oracle card reading. Like that's like, how to open sacred space, how to close sacred space, how to connect in with your guides. Who are your guides? How do I want to invoke my guides? That kind of thing. So yeah, it's much more than just like card reading, but it is like you will receive. It's not just vague psychic development. Like it's deep. Like there's such structure in this training. I'm so proud of it. And yeah, if you've enjoyed the challenge, like it's just a little bite-size window into just like what a couple of the lessons would be like. And training's obviously way more in depth, but yeah, the essence of the training really is all about reminding us that we are the oracle, you are the oracle, and that the cards are gateways. And so yeah, they're in the physical. They help us through focusing on them and using them as doorways to connect in with our psychic senses and the unseen world of spirit, whether that is like a particular guide that you're working with, whether that's ancestors, whether that's spirit guides, whether that's angels, whether that's, if you're a medium, whatever it is. So yes, and we're all intuitive. We really are. It's through our body's senses that we receive our intuition. So yes. Okay, let me see if there's any more. My company is It's Rise Sister Rise in Action. I think I'll offer readings as well. Amazing. I'm starting a sound healing company, Sacred Vibration Sound Bath, that is focused on sisterhood. Amazing. I have a fear that the client becomes triggered and goes into trauma reaction. What can you recommend? Okay, so I think the first thing is, it's like knowing how to hold space effectively for a client and I think in specifically when it comes to card reading, like I really recommend that you really set it up and you're clear about what you're offering. You're clear about what they're looking for, what their question is. So often it's not about what we say, but the energy we're holding them in as well. So what I'd recommend if you're afraid of that, first of all, I think the more grounded you can become, the more connected and aware of what you're connecting to, as in what guides, for example, and opening that sacred container, so that like your energy is not forward or back. You're in center. You're in your power. You're not attached to the outcome in that sense, but you're able to hold a safe container as well for that person. When we're holding space for others, like we're human, like we're there's no such thing as being like fully healed and fully whole and all of that. We're always growing and learning ourselves. And the more work we can do on our nervous systems ourselves, particularly as highly sensitives, often highly sensitives have had extreme things happen in their life. And it's part of like where the gift really was alchemized. It can happen like that. The more we can work on soothing our own nervous system so we're not reactive if we experience a shift in energy with our clients is really important when it comes to effectively holding space. I also am a big believer in, I know that like when I was really starting out, I felt like I needed to perform over actually holding a really sacred container for that person and really seeing them. And I learned so quickly, and I've had great teachers who've taught me this as well, that it's not about what you say. It's not about getting it right or wrong. It's about like being deeply connected to spirit, trusting that connection as well. And it's often not what you say. It's the energy that you're holding someone in, and like properly seeing them. I think we've got in the training like so many lessons on how to empower your client, um, rather than being like I need to perform for someone. It's not helpful just like wowing someone with information when if they don't feel held and seen and safe, and if that's the part of why they've come to you. um what should we avoid in card readings? What if you're wrong? Yeah, so I think the thing that we should avoid is like that need to perform and like get it right. So you can, I think the first thing you want to say with your client as well is that ultimately, like you're like, we live in a world of free will. You get to decide what future you want to create, what we're going to be doing in today's reading. And for example, if you were doing a reading like the Cosmic Cross and we're looking 6 months ahead, you might say, so we're going to be feeling into the next 6 months and possibilities, possible outcomes based on current reality. Now, if anything that I share with you doesn't resonate, just take what does and put aside the bits that don't. My intention is, and state your intention. And so you're just opening up this like safe, loving container for them, and also saying like, don't get alarmed with the cards, because often, like for example, in the tarot deck, the death card, it's like a classic one where everyone's like, oh my god, but it doesn't mean death necessarily in that sense. It's like endings, and I've got several different cards, and in my deck as well, where it's like at first it can feel startling, but really if you actually know the meaning of the card, you're like, whoa, this is a power card. This is a really powerful card to create shifts in your life. These are the themes, da, 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 da. And so, I think the thing that I want us to, in answer to your question, like the thing to avoid in card readings is trying to like perform and do things the way you think you should do them. The more you get comfortable with your readings, and in my experience, the way to get comfortable is practice and to follow a process that you're grounded in. Then you get to make it your own. And this is part of the training that I offer as well. Is we in the integration module, we're like, okay, cool, so these are the readings that I've done, and this is the work I'm doing as well in the world, and how am I being called to work with oracle cards in this way? Because not all of us will be like doing like readings in the same way. Like some of us are coaches who want to integrate readings in, others host workshops and want to integrate readings into that. And so there's always a unique way that we're being called to use it. But we've got to learn the foundations first, and once we've found the foundations and we're rooted in those foundations, then we can do it in a way that's authentic to us. But I think the most important thing is like trying to loosen your grip about getting it right or getting it wrong. Particularly if you're starting out, like start your readings with, this is this. I love oracle cards. I'm doing more and more readings, and I recommend this when someone's doing the training, and it's like, and they're doing their practice clients, and it's just like, I appreciate you doing this for me, take what resonates and don't. And so you'll learn the thing that you say at the beginning, which will really set the container so you don't feel like you have to like give this like 10-star performance. It's not a performance. It's so much of it is around just staying true to yourself. And in my experience, this is what happens in readings as well. I know I'm always blown away at the unseen mystery that brings us all together. And if you are starting a reading practice, or like Diana, you're saying you're hoping to integrate readings into your Reiki sessions, perfect. I've got a couple people who I know who are beauticians who want to do the same. I know a couple people who teach retreats and want to integrate card reading into their retreat work. It's really endless how you can integrate your card reading into that. But the main thing is to be authentic in your process. Like don't try and like perform, and rather just stay true to yourself. Trust that the people who are drawn to you because you're the right person for them will find you. I know when I first started doing readings, I was blown away by that. How the people who at a soul level are meant to come to you will find you. And if you stay true to that, if you root yourself in your foundations of your practice and your trainings, and then just show up as yourself and trust your connection to spirit, then like you don't need to overthink it, because you can just be there and trust the mystery that's bringing you all forward together. When I do a reading, I always get a really clear message about my life right now. But when I ask something else, I still just get reading about my life right now. Any advice for asking specifics? I recommend, if you haven't, to Kate, to do the Cosmic Cross spread, because it's a specific time-based spread. I've also got another spread, I think it's in the Rose Oracle, called Trust the Seasons. So if you've got that, you'll find that. And that's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. So find a spread that is specific to future. That's where I'd start. I'm more called using Oracle cards over tarot. I feel more connected with Oracle. Yeah, I mean, I love tarot too, but I prefer Oracle cards as well. There's more fluidness to them. What if you don't do readings for others? Can I still do the training? Absolutely, absolutely, you can. So yeah, it doesn't, like, you don't have to. Yeah, I mean, the part of the certification, if you want it, and you can do the training without going for the certification, is you do a set amount of readings for yourself, and then a set amount of readings for someone else. It can be like your best friend, your husband, your mum. It doesn't have to be like you're starting this professional practice. Some people will, but yeah, it's completely up to you. And yeah, you can just do the training and deepen your own personal practice 100%. You've been teaching a lot. Is this something that is moving us to our evolution? You've been teaching a lot. Is this something that is moving us to our evolution? Very curious. I don't quite know what you mean by that. Do you mean oracle cards or teaching in general? I mean, I think that anything that connects us to our intuition connects us more deeply to our evolution. Anything that connects us to embracing our ever changing nature leads us to our evolution. I think that we are, oh, in general, okay. Um, I think that we are at a moment in human history where we are experiencing what I call, and these are just what I call it, a great mother awakening, where within us we are all, I think, being urged to wake up and reconnect with what I call the sacred feminine, our intuition, our creativity. But it's really the part of us that's connected to nature. I think as humans, we have become way too focused on the spring and summer and not the autumn and winter, which are the more feminine months. It's change. We've been resisting change, trying to be in like this perfect full bloom state all year round, year after year after year. And it's caused so much harm to the planet. It's caused us to become so separate from each other as well. And I believe that we are all being called to be part of what I would call a rebirth for humanity. But we have to embrace change if we do that. We have to return to each other if we do that. So, yeah, I'm definitely teaching more on that. I've been teaching on that for quite a while. But yeah, with my most recent book, they're really the main themes that I've been integrating them for many years. But yeah, they're starting to be shared now. I missed the beginning, but heard you talk about integration module. Could you tell us the titles of the other modules? Yeah, sure. So first of all, let me see if I can remember them. Foundations of Oracle card reading, and then there's reading for yourself, reading for others, and reading professionally, and then integration. Okay. Feedback will be provided after submitting the readings. Yeah, so Maru, what you'll do is you've got your main workbook, and then you'll have a PDF that will have all the different reading sheets on them. Now, those reading sheets you'll print off, and you'll do each, and they're basically different card spreads that you will have learned in the training. You will fill out the reading sheet for each of those spreads and like obviously do a reading for yourself to do that. Then you're going to print off another copy, which will be the same card spreads where you'll be doing them for other people. You'll fill out the reading sheet, but then there's a section at the bottom that can be used either like physically or digitally. So it's a fully interactive PDF where the person that you've done a reading for will submit feedback. It doesn't have to be full in depth. It can be encouragement. It doesn't have to be like, oh, that was okay. But constructive feedback is really helpful as well. So yeah, and then you'll gather all of your reading sheets and then submit them to the team. And then the other thing that you need to do to get certification is obviously just like do the course. So watch all the videos and mark them as complete. Do we video the readings? No, you don't have to video the readings. I find that I continue to purchase more Oracle decks. I have like my go-to. Should I pause and listen to Spirit what deck I should choose? Yeah, so Mitzi, with my training, you'll select one of my Oracle decks as your base deck for that training. And so, yeah, I recommend that you connect with spirit and just choose whichever one is right for you. So, and you'll be taken through that process. You don't have to like overthink it when you check out. And so you just go to RebeccaCampbell.me/oracle, and yeah, you'll be able to and just check out, and you'll choose your oracle deck. There is an opportunity to upgrade to multiple decks if you want, but you'll still be choosing your base deck. Okay, so any other questions from anyone? Just see. Sophia, love the challenge, have signed up and ready to go. Yay, amazing. Hi, Rupal. Just see any other questions. Ponzi registered for the training and started yesterday. It's so full of knowledge and inspiration. Yay. Amazing. Oh wait, I have a number of sets of oracle cards that I read for myself. When I shuffle the cards, some of them fall out. Yeah, so they're known as jumper cards. Many people call them that. And you just pay attention to them. I mean, you can use them as one of the cards in a spread if you want, but I normally just put them to the side. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone who has joined the challenge. It's been amazing. I want to thank all of you who've shared your pictures of your spreads, your comments on YouTube as well. The 3 sessions are available until midnight tonight for free. You can find them on YouTube, as well as obviously if you haven't signed up, go to RebeccaCampbell.me/challenge, and you'll find everything there. And if you would like to join me for my new Oracle Card Reader certification training, just a reminder that it's 25% off. That's $100 off until midnight tonight. So enrollment's open until then. That's midnight PST time. And yeah, so congrats to everyone who's already registered for the training. And yeah, can't wait to see all your reading sheets. And yeah, if you haven't, if you want to catch those free videos, I can see a couple of people asking, just head over to my YouTube and you'll find them all there, or head to RebeccaCampbell.me/challenge. And yeah, I'll see you in the certification training if you want. A reminder that you can receive 25% off if you head to RebeccaCampbell.me/oracle. All right. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday.